Welcome. Welcome to the Tara. But in studying the Tara, we are not studying Tara. Let me explain. Consider the question, does God exist? God is just a word. What does it mean? Answering this question is just playing a word game, because there is nothing we can do to prove yes, God exists or no, God does not exist. Instead, let's change the question to another question, which can be answered, and in answering the other question, we therefore answer the question, does God exist? Because they both have the same meaning. Now, the other question is, when we die, do we still live, continue in some way, some form? Because if we do live after we die, it means that we must be more than body, more than our physical organism. There is something else, and although the body has decayed and been destroyed, there's something transmaterial which continues. Well, by definition, something that is beyond the body, something transmaterial, must be spiritual. Therefore, in answering the question, when we die, do we still exist? We can show that reality is spiritual, not just material. And that meaning, the implication is the same as, yes, God exists. Now, you can answer this question for yourself right now. When we look at a two-dimensional surface, we can only see that because we are elevated in a third dimension, and therefore we can look down upon a two-dimensional surface and see it. Well, look around you now. You're living in a world of three-dimensional spatial objects and a fourth dimension of time. Now, our perception of time is fleetingly brief, very brief. But we must be elevated in a fifth dimension in order to perceive the fourth dimension of time, even though it's very brief. Therefore, you, the perceiver, i.e. the soul, consciousness, must be in a fifth dimension, looking down, as it were, upon a fourth dimensional world of time and space. Therefore, you, the perceiver, are fifth dimensional, but time is only fourth dimensional, so you transcend the dimension of time. The fifth dimension is beyond the fourth dimension. You are timeless, eternal. You cannot die, the real you. But your body is a three-dimensional object subject to fourth dimensional effects, so it can die. But you are outside time. The real you, the perceiver, is beyond the ravages of time and will continue in a timeless state. We have shown, therefore, that the perceiver, the real you, is beyond time and cannot die. This is the same meaning as you are transmaterial, beyond the physical, therefore you are spiritual. Now, this fifth dimensional you is dynamic because emotions, willpower, impulses, urges, driven motivations from within are always in the first person. I am, I feel this, I want that. Dynamic energy is actually fifth dimensional because it's always experienced in the first person, and you are the first person, which is fifth dimensional. So from your point of view, which is the real you, dynamicism is fifth dimensional. So the totality of reality is fifth dimensional, not just three-dimensional space and fourth dimensional time. To have a correct view of reality, truth, your point of view should be fifth dimensional and dynamic, not 3 plus 1 dimensional and material. That is a distorted, limited outlook. So reality is actually dynamic, invisible but dynamic. The whole universe is a living, throbbing, ebbing and flowing ocean of invisible energy. The whole universe. That means the universe is actually astrological. Currents and tides of astrological energy are pouring forth and back, round and round in the universe, and we live on an island in the middle of that. Reality is actually astrological. Truth is astrological. And what we call God is just astrological forces, astrological entities. So whenever we look at history, science, religion, politics, anything, our point of view should be fifth dimensional and what human beings describe as astrology. But actually this is really the science of fifth dimensional energies pouring through, reflected in the fourth dimensional world, where usually our very limited consciousness is confined to. Like the hanged man in the Tara, distorted view. Everything, including the tarot, the images in the tarot, are actually expressions of the reality behind of astrological forces, which is the true nature of fifth dimensional reality. When we look at tarot cards, they are just outward expressions, symbols of astrology. We don't study tarot, we are really studying astrology. Thank you.